Hi, good morning. I'm Kiran Raj. Welcome to the online classes on problem solving using C. In this subject, we are going to learn about the C programming language. Okay. So, first chapter is overview of C. So, before directly going to the C language, let us see what is computer. Okay. So, computer is an electronic machine which is used to perform certain tasks using set of instructions provided by the user. So what it is going to do? It is going to perform certain tasks. Okay. By what means? By the instructions provided by the user. So user is going to provide certain instructions, then the computer is going to perform that task. Okay. Now let us see why it is mainly invented. The computer is mainly invented to perform complex mathematical operations or complex mathematical problem, finding the solution to the complex mathematical problem. For example, you want to find the answer to the trigonometric problem, or you want to find the answer to the physics problem, or you want to calculate the value for the astronomical units. Okay, that time we are going to use it. Later on, it is used in every field. Okay. Now let us come for the what is language. Language is a set of instructions used to communicate between two users or two or more users, and language has its own rules and it has its own grammar. Let us consider English language. What is the main purpose of the English language? English language is used to communicate between two people, and it has its own grammar and it has its own rules, right? Before communicating, we have to know the rules or regulation or the grammar of the language properly. After knowing that only we can start communicating. So what is language? Language is a set of instructions used to communicate between two people. Now let us see what is computer language. Computer language is again language which is used to communicate between the computer and the user, or I can say computer language is a set of instructions used for the communication between the user and the computer. Now let us see what is the use of computer language. Computer is not understand, sorry, computer will not understand English, right? Or computer will not understand high level languages. Computer is only going to understand machine level language, or it is only going to understand binary language, that is zeros and one. Okay, but we cannot write the program in 0 and 1. It is impossible to write the program in 0 and 1, right? Okay, so how we are going to write the program? We are going to write the program in high level language. Okay, we are going to write the program in high level language. But does the computer understand that? Computer will not understand that. So what is happening here? The high level language, that is programs written in this one, English or anything, right? Okay, before going there, we have three types of the languages: high level language, assembly level language, and machine level language. Machine level language is a language that is understood by the computer. 0 and 1 are binary level language. Then high level language. High level language is the one which is understood by the user. So how the communication is possible? High level language, that is program written in high level language, that is fed to the built-in application called as compiler. Compiler will convert the high level language to binary level language or the machine level language, and then the computer will understand that machine level language, then it will start executing the things. What is program? Program is a set of instructions. Now let us come for the application. Where it is used? It is used in every field. It is used for entertainment purpose. It is used in medical field. It is used in education field. It is used in banking sector. It is communication purpose. It is used everywhere. It is used everywhere. Or science. Okay. Now let us come for the history of C. So root of the any modern programming language comes from the ALGOL. ALGOL is an algorithmic language. So it is invented in 1960 by the international group. So ALGOL is the first programming language to implement block structure or structural programming. So what is structure programming? If you see the FIT or fundamentals of information technology, we have input, then the processing, then the output device, right? In the same manner, in the program also we are going to have the input section, output section and the processing section. So here we can classify the program into input part, processing part and the output part and many other parts. Okay, so we can classify or make it set very easily. That is structural programming. And in the 1967, Martin Richards developed the BCPL by the influence of the ALGOL. What is BCPL? BCPL is Basic Combined Programming Language. Then in the 1970, by the influence of the BCPL, Ken Thompson developed the language B. Okay. So both BCPL and B, they are typeless language. What is typeless language? For example, in your computer or when you are doing the program, when you declare the variable, we are going to give the name of the variable and we are going to also say the type of the variable. What is the type of the variable? Type of the variable is integer, float, character, boolean, like that. Okay. So when I am say that particular variable is float, it can only store floating point number. When I say that particular variable is character, it can only store character value. But in BCPL and B, it is not there. It is not there. In particular variable, I can store anything. I can store floating point, I can store integer point, or I can store character, I can store boolean value also. And in the traditional C, that is C, it is invented in the 1972 by Dennis Ritchie. Dennis Ritchie got the influence from ALGOL, BCPL and B. And what is done? He added the features of these three languages plus he implemented the concept of the type language, that is data types. Okay. And in 1972, Brian Kernighan and Dennis Ritchie developed the developed it further and they called it as K and R C. They have written the book, that is C programming language, which later become very famous. In 1989, many versions of the C were available. So to make it one, ANSI committee came into picture and they combined every pieces of the C and they named it as ANSI C. We can also call it as C89. And in 1990, again ANSI and ISA committee again standardized the C in 1999. So in the period of 1990 to 1999, C++ and Java were developed. C++ and Java were developed. So what they done? C and Java was the developed from the C. But what we thought that we can take certain features from C++ and Java. So we took certain features from there and we implemented in the ANSI C. So we got the new version, that is C99. So it is done by the standardization committee. And in again 2011 we had the another standardization, so that is C11. So let us go through it again. Algol. Algol is the first or root for every modern programming languages. It is invented by the International Group in 1960. It is the first programming language to implement the structural programming, and in 1967 Martin Richards invented BCPL, that is Basic Combined Programming Language, by the influence of Algol, and in 1970 Ken Thompson invented B by the influence of the BCPL. But both BCPL and B are typeless language. In 1972, Dennis Ritchie combined Algol, BCPL and B, plus he had type concept, and in 1978, Brian Kernighan and Dennis Ritchie, they developed the C further and they called it as K and RC. And so since many versions of the C were available, in 1989 ANSI committee came into picture and they standardized the C, and it can be also called as C89. And in 1990 ISO committee came and they again standardized the available C, and in period of 1990 to 1999 the C++ and Java were developed. C++ and Java were developed mainly because of the C, but we thought that we can implement certain features of the C++ and Java to C also, so that we can enhance the functionality of C. So we have implement certain features and we have enhanced it, and we called it as C99. And in 2011 we again standardization committee came into picture and they standardized the C. Let us go for certain importance of the C here. The C language is very important language and it is very robust language. What do you mean by robust language? It is very strong language and it is very powerful language. Okay, and it it has the properties, or it has the features of both assembly level language and high level language. I already mentioned we have three languages. One is high level language, assembly level language, and the last one is machine level language. Okay, by using the assembly level language we can directly give the instructions to the hardware of the computer, and assembly level languages are short in nature, but it can only understood by the programmer. Okay, so and it is very efficient and fast also. But why? Because it has inbuilt functions are there. Okay, so which makes the programming very fast. Okay, and it is also robust language because of its keywords, operators and inbuilt functions. Okay, and we have around 32 keywords, so very small number of keywords, but its main strength lies in inbuilt function. Next importance is it is portable in nature. What do you mean by portable? Portable means, for example, if I write the program in one computer, I can take the program copy and I can run the same thing in the another computer also. So it is very portable in nature. So most of it is C is machine dependent. It depends on the machine. So most of your operating systems are written in C there. Okay. Then it is suited for the structured program. Why it is structured program? As I already mentioned, we can divide the program into different parts, so that will be very easy. So when you divide the program into different parts, debugging, maintenance or testing or running of the program, finding the errors, they become very easy. Okay. Then ability to extend itself, as I already mentioned, it has many inbuilt functions are there, and it has many library functions are there. So you can include the library function, and then you can enhance the properties, or you can create your own library and then you can enhance the properties also. Since it is structured programming, the programming is also very simple and efficient. Okay. Then let us come for the basic structure of C program. While coming to basic structure of the C program can be divided like documentation section, link section, definition section, global declaration section, main section, and subprogram or subfunction section. Here, link section and definition section, they can be combined together, and we can also call it as preprocessor section. Okay. So documentation section, preprocessor section, global declaration section, main section, and subprogram or subfunction section, where preprocessor section is having link section and the definition section, or you can say documentation, link section, definition, global, main, and subprogram or subfunction. Okay. Here every part is not compulsory. Every part is not compulsory, but the main function is compulsory. Main function should be there in the particular program. But other sections, they are not compulsory to be there in the program. Only the main function is compulsory and it should be there in the program. So I will explain this by seeing the so I will explain these parts using the program. So let us see this program. Okay. So first one is documentation section. Documentation section will be giving the information regarding the program. So what is documentation section? Documentation section will be telling about when the program is done, who is done it, or what is the use of that program, or what is the variables that is used, which part is which section. So it gives the details about the program. Now why it is used? It is mainly used for the future references. What do you mean by future references, or why it is required, right? For example, let us say that I have written the program from here to here and I directly give it to you from here to here. Okay, from include to this one, last brace. Okay, so I'll do that. So if I only do that, you will be not knowing what is the purpose of the program, or who has done it, when it has done, or which section is which section, right? But if you see here document part, I can easily come to know, okay, this program is for area of the circle. Who is the author? Kiran Raj. When it is done on the 8th. Okay. What is a used description? It is used to calculate the area of the circle by using the radius, right? That is documentation section. And documentation section or the comment part is ignored by the compiler. Documentation section is ignored by the compiler. It is not going to be it is going to be ignored by the compiler. It is not going to be executed, right? It is not going to execute. It is not for the computer purpose, it is for the user purpose, right? So it is going to be ignored. Okay. So here comments can be of two types. One is multi-line comment and another one is single line comment. Single line comments are these things. Okay, these things are the single line comments. So where I will be describing that respective line. So I am saying that ash include stdio.h is the link section, right? So that is the thing. Okay. Now another, that is single line comment, and single line comment will always starts with double slash. Okay. And multi-line comments where you want to write the comment for more than one line, right? So that is multi-line comment. So it will be starting with slash and star, and it will be ending with star and slash. Okay. Then comes the link section. So in the link section, you are going to add or you are going to take the support of the some other files, library files. Okay, you are going to take the support of the library files. For example, in this program I am going to take the help of the stdio file, standard input output file. Okay, so in the link section I am going to attach the header files. I am going to attach the header files to my computer, sorry, to the program. I am going to attach the header files which is needed for the program to the to my program. Okay, so here that is why you have the instructions called as include. I am including the header file stdio to the, okay. And next one is the definition section. Definition section is mainly used to define symbolic constant. It is mainly used to define the symbolic constant, or it is used to define the macros. Okay, so here you have the define is there, define. So and link section and the definition section will always starts with the hash symbol. Hash symbol, it is started with the hash symbol, and these two things together form the preprocessor section. What do you mean by preprocessor section? Before the compilation is done, these instructions will be given to the compiler. Before the compilation of the program, these instructions are provided. Next comes the global declaration section. In the global declaration section, we can define, in the global declaration we can declare the global variable and the sub function. So here we have declared the sub function. Okay, when you can declare the global variable. Global variable is used when more than one function is using the same variable. When more than one function is using the same variable, then we are going to declare them in the global declaration. So when we declare them in the global declaration, those variables becomes global variable. So but what we have done here, we have not done that here. We have only declared the function. Sub function here. Okay. Next, coming to the main section. The main section, as I already mentioned, every section is optional except the main section. In your program, you should have the main section. Okay. Main section. Let us come for the main section here. Main section will be having two parts. Declaration part and another one is executable part. What is declaration part? Declaration part is the declaration of the variable. You need certain variables, right, for doing some operation. That time you are going to declare them in the local declaration part. This will be the local declaration. Okay, this is a local declaration, this. Okay, and next one is the executable part. What you are going to do in the executable part? You are going to execute the program, right? So you have to write the logic for that one. So what I'm doing here, I'm just printing the statement, enter the radius, then I'm going to take the value of the radius here. In the next line in the print, I'm going to print the area, right? So this is input, I'm asking, sorry, this is input here, I'm asking for the value, I'm calculating the radius, and I'm printing the radius, sorry, area here. Okay, you need not worry about this one. Just remember, function will be having two parts. One is declaration part and another one is executable part. Declaration part will specify the variables present in that particular function. For example, here what we have done, here we have specified r, right? Why? Because I'm going to use the r here, right? I'm using the r here in that particular, in this function. So I have to declare that. And radius, that is radius, right? Radius will be mainly in the floating point number. Floating point number means what? Point number, decimal point, right? Decimal pointed number. 4.5, floating point number 3.6, floating point number 3.88, floating point number, right? So those things, that is why I made it float. Okay, then comes the subfunction or subprogram. Subprogram is not compulsory, again it is also not compulsory, but depending on the circumstances we can use them. You can use them. Here what you are doing in the subfunction, here we are calculating the radius of, sorry, area of the circle. See, we have done here pi into r into r. Why? Because r is having the radius, and what is pi? Pi is 3.14. What is the formula for calculating the area of the circle? Pi into r square. R square, right? So we have done that. Don't worry about the program now. We will go to that later. Okay. Thank you.